welcome. My name is Dr. Johnson, and I want to welcome you to today's session of our Tech Talk for this week. And I want you to just like and share so that other people can benefit from today's discussion. So this is a platform that we use to enlighten, inform, and bring knowledge and guidance to people, especially in the area of artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, and data analytics, and generally technology, So please like, share, and comment on this video so that other people can get to know about this information that we'll be sharing today. And also follow Glomax Solutions on all our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, so that you can also get up-to-date information like the one that we are sharing today. So today's topic is on career. So, and we want to talk about data-related career path. So what is the best option for you, and which option should you go for? Those are key questions that we want to look at today. What are the options, and what are the areas that we see opportunity, and then what are the options that are best for you? Now let me start by laying some foundation that we are in the era of digital transformation and what is sometimes called fourth industrial revolution. And so everything is going digital. We have a lot of transformation that are taking place in our world, and technology is shaping a lot of things that is happening in our world. So we have maybe internet. Everything now is taking place on internet. People are not really doing transactions in person. They do it online. Work is going on online and so on. Then we have things like artificial intelligence, various aspects of artificial intelligence shaping what is going on in our world today. We have things like cloud computing. You know, some of us grew up in days where information is stored in computer directly, where information is put in hard drives. But today, most of the informations that companies are keeping, they are stored in the cloud environment. And then we have things like big data. These are things that are digital transformational things that are bringing transformation to industry. So we have big data, which means that we have a high volume of data, and not just high volume, we have variety. So because before we only deal with data that are in rows and columns, today now we are extracting information from different sources, from different kind of data, including audio, including video, including text. Those are data that we can get information from. And there are so many other unstructured data like HTML and so on that we can also extract information from. Another thing that is also something that is driving the transformation that we are seeing today is automation. So we see a lot of knowledge work that people are doing in the workplace becoming digital now. So it's now being done by computer. And we see things like robot also doing the work that human being does. So all of these are digital transformation that are taking place with a lot more. So at the background of all of these things is the connectivity, especially we are connected on the internet to so many things. And at the back of it also is data. Data is the driving force for all of this. So we have data as the key foundations on which most of these emerging technology, digital transformations, they are built on. And that's why they said data is the new oil. That's a quote by Cliff Humby. Data is the new oil. And the idea is that just like oil was one of the main assets of any company in the past, if you are an oil company, if your company is producing oil, you are likely to be able to make money, because then you have a lot of things to export to other areas, because people need fuel, they need gas in the cars. So it means that if you are an oil company, you are likely going to be rich. But in today's world, data is actually an asset. So that means data is one of the most valuable assets that any company, any organization can have. If you have that data, it means you have opportunity, you have an advantage over others that doesn't have. So that's why they said data is the new oil. And not only that, Andrew Ng, which is one of the leader in the AI field, says that AI is the new electricity. AI is the new electricity. Just like everybody need electricity in their house to be able to have light. So AI is bringing a lot of transformation, even though AI has existed for a long time, since early 50s, but it's actually bringing a lot of transformational experience into our world. And we talk about ChatGPT, which is an AI system that is created now, that is trending last week. So it is one of the areas where we are seeing digital transformation taking place. AI is one of the leading aspects that is bringing those transformation into our world. Now, with all this emerging technology, whether it's driven by data or AI, one of the factors that has been a challenge for organizations from adopting most of this transformational experience in their organization. When they did a survey, one of the critical factor is lack of talent and human resources. Lack of talent and human resources is the second major reasons why many organizations have not really gone fully into adopting data and also AI systems. So, and that is a big thing. So that's why there is a lot of job opportunities now that are data related. In fact, you don't even need to wear the title of a data analyst or anything. Most of the day-to-day job that people do now has a lot to do with data. So that is one of the key things. That's why every organization now needs somebody with data skill, data experience. And it's not just one vertical industry. It's not just maybe tech industry. It's not just bank industry. It's not just anything. It cut across both horizontal and vertical industries. It cut across. So that skill is a skill that is required almost everywhere, because every decisions that businesses are making now, they are data driven. Everything that businesses are going to do, they are data driven. So which means that you will need to have that skill in order to get in. But if you are thinking of building a career in that field, what are the options that you need to know? What are the options that is good for you? Now, essentially, when we talk about data, there is a process that data goes through, which I will call data flow. Data flow process. So essentially, companies start by collecting data. Okay, they collect the data and then they store it. For example, maybe you are buying something online. Maybe you go to Amazon and you are buying something. You are giving them some data that they will be storing. So they are collecting data. That's the first thing. They need a platform where they can collect the data. That's the starting point. So collecting the data, then moving and storing the data is the second thing. They store the data. Then now they need to extract and explore information that is in the data. And finally, they use that information that they extract and they explore to do analysis, to perform some machine learning model, and then to create maybe a dashboard or something that can tell a story for us about the business. And across these four steps is things like data privacy, data governance, and data security, and even data operations. Okay, so every organizations have systems in place to deal with privacy and governance, security, and operation. But essentially, the main thing is collect the data, store the data, extract information from the data, and then analyze or model or visualize. Those are the four things. And if we are going to classify it generally, especially the four steps, we can put it into data engineering. I will put it into two boxes. Data engineering part, and then the second part is data science part. So the data engineering part is the work that takes place in the back end. In the back end, that is collecting and extracting, I'll be storing the data and extracting information from the data. We can put that under the data engineering part. Then the other one is, how do we tell a story from the data, or how do we use the data to make some prediction? That is in the front end. So that one will be the data science part. Okay, but across all of this is other skills too, like data privacy, data governance, data security, and data operations management. So all of these, they cut across from beginning to the end. Anybody working in data privacy and governance will have to understand all the various steps that all these things go through. Okay, so that's what I will call the data flow process. But essentially, let's break it into two parts today. We are not going to talk much about data privacy, governance, security. Those are roles that are also needed in today's world, but we are going to focus a bit more on data engineering and data science. Data engineering part and data science part. Okay, so there are so many job titles that we see emerging in our world today. There are so many job titles, data related job titles that we see. So you can see things like business intelligence analyst, you can see things like data analyst, you can see things like marketing analyst, you can see things like data scientist, and many of these titles, they are new. They never exist maybe 15 to 20 years ago. You never hear those titles. They are new. Many of them emerged in the last 10 to 15 years. Okay, so you have data scientists, you have machine learning engineer, you have AI specialist, you have database. Okay, database administrator has always been in existence, but database admin, they also deal with data. Okay, data engineer. These are various titles that you might see. And then data mining engineer. And you can see things like data architect or data management specialist. You can see any of these titles. And in some industry, you can also have industry related title, job title. Like maybe they said financial analyst. Now, even though the primary thing that they might need is you to have understanding of the financial industry, but actually on top of it is knowledge of data. So you might see things like financial analyst or insurance analyst or customer care analyst. You know, all of those titles can also exist based on what the focus of the work of the person is. But the general title that you will probably see is things like data analyst, business intelligence analyst. That one cut across any industry and it's not specific to any industry. So these are common job titles that you might see in the market today because of the emerging opportunity in data. But most of them, actually, I would say they are front-end work. Okay, they are related to what I would call the data science track or part. Okay, a few are in the data engineering part. Okay, like the work of database administrator. Most of the database administrator, they are working in the back end. They don't really do visualization. They don't do anything in the front end. They don't even query much the data that is stored. Their job is to create and to also maintain the database. So they are backend. And the same thing with data engineer. Data engineer are backend. Their job is like building a pipe. Okay, you need water to flow into your house, but you have water in a dam somewhere, in a river somewhere. So you need to create a pipeline that will transfer the water from where it is to your house. That's the work that data engineers do. They create data pipeline. They create a system to move the data from where it is to where it's needed by those who are working in the front end. So that's the work of data engineer. So many of the job titles, they are in the data science track. They are in the data science track. So which I will call the front end experience. So now, if you are interested in data engineering, what do you need to know about data engineering? Number one is that your work role as a data engineer is to create data pipeline and to extract, transform, and load information from different sources. So it might be that the data is in a cloud infrastructure or it's in a local database. Wherever it is, your job is to extract the information, do some transformation on the data and then load it in the form that those who are working in the front end, like the data scientists, data analysts, or whoever is working in the front end need. So that's your job. Your job is like creating a pipe that will move the data from different sources and bring it into the house where the people that need to use it, they can use it. So that's your job as a data engineer. So you don't need knowledge of statistics. You don't need knowledge of maths. You don't need knowledge of machine learning models or algorithms. You don't need knowledge of how to do visualization. You don't need any of those things in data engineering. It's not relevant. Your job is more like advanced level work of software engineers. Okay? So what are the skills that you need? You need to understand data ingestion. You need to understand data storage. You need to understand data management. You need to understand data warehousing and also understand data lake architecture. Okay, enterprise data lake architecture. And you need to also have understanding of cloud computing like AWS, Google Cloud Platform, and also Azure, Microsoft Azure. So those are key skills that data engineers have. They are more like advanced level of software engineering, the way I would look at it. And then what are the tools that you need? Okay, you need to have knowledge of operating systems. Okay, not just Windows, you need to have knowledge of Unix. Okay, and then you need to have some programming experience, especially things like Java, okay, Scala, and then Python. Those are core in data engineering field. Java, Scala, and Python, they are very key. Then you need to have knowledge of ETL tools. There are so many ETL tools. For example, Talent. Okay, that's one example of ETL tools that you need to understand. And then you need to understand Hadoop, because Hadoop is the modern day infrastructure for storing big data. So you need to have knowledge of Hadoop infrastructure. And there are so many tools that are included in Hadoop infrastructure. Okay, and then you need to have knowledge of Spark. Okay, Spark. Okay, so Spark. Under Spark, you have Scala, you have PySpark, and you have Spark SQL that you need to know. Then you also need to have understanding of relational database, RDBMS. So like have a good knowledge of how to write SQL query very well. Okay, so that's very important. And then you also need to have knowledge of cloud infrastructure, especially AWS, Google Cloud Platform, GCP, and then Azure, Microsoft Azure. Those are commonly the three that most organizations are using. And then you also need to have knowledge of Git. Okay, so which is where you archive code, which is where you work with other developers when you are developing the pipeline. So you need to know how to use GitHub or Bitbucket or some other Git infrastructure. So those are key skills that are very important for a data engineering person. So for me personally, I always advise that somebody who wants to go this path be somebody that is interested a lot in coding, or somebody that is probably having some experience in software engineers and then he want to actually move to a new level. So data engineers is a little bit more technical. It's back-end work, but it's a little bit more technical. So that's one of the parts. So, and your title can be data engineer, senior data engineer, manager of data engineering team, director, or some other title like a big data developer and so on, the solution architect, data architect. They can give you different titles, but the idea is that the workload that you do is to build a pipeline that will move the data from various sources and bring it into where the people that are using it. And it's one of the highly paying jobs today. It's one of the highly paying jobs today. In fact, in the US, it's estimated by Indeed that the average salary for a data engineer, the average salary is about $120,000 per annum, the average salary. And it's one of the highly paying data related role. Okay, so that's it. So if you want to do data engineering, what are the things you need to know? Operating systems, programming, database management system, ETL and data warehousing through. Then you need to have knowledge of Hadoop and Spark frameworks, okay, like HDFS, MapReduce, PySpark, Spark SQL, Scala. Those are very key. And then number 6, you need to understand cloud. cloud infrastructure like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud Platform, or even IBM Cloud. So the moment you have knowledge of those 6 major areas, then you can become a data engineer. All right. So what about data science track? What about data science part? So that one is what we will refer to as front end, which means that it is a little bit less technical than the data engineering part. A little bit less. It's more like a softer part of the data role. So for data scientists, your job is to, there are different roles that I will be talking about, but your job is to extract information from data, whether it's structured or unstructured, and also generate insight for businesses for them to make decisions. Okay, but your job is front end. Your job is front end, so you have to communicate what the data is telling to various stakeholders. Okay, so your job is front end. So what are the skills that you need for that? So for that, you need business and domain knowledge. Business and domain knowledge. So domain knowledge is key. You want to work in the financial industry, you need to understand what exactly does the financial industry need. It's very key, because eventually you want to align what the data is saying to what the business needs. Okay, the data is meant to solve a business problem, so you need to have some domain knowledge. Now you don't need to be an expert, but at least you need to have some domain knowledge in the field that you are using it. Then you need to have some knowledge of statistics and math, because data is all about numbers. It's all about numbers. You need to know what those numbers are talking about. And many of the algorithms that you have in machine learning, they are based on maths and statistics. So you need to have some basic understanding of statistics and maths. Now you don't need that in data engineering, but you need it in data science track. Number 3, you need to understand techniques for data analysis. There are different techniques that you use in data analysis. So if I'm giving data and I need to answer some business question, there are different techniques or approach that I need to use to answer that question. So how do I do it? If they give me a question that is a business question, what is the technique that I need to use? So you need to understand that data analysis technique. Then number 4 thing that you need is knowledge of data mining as well, and then machine learning algorithm. That is for those who are aspiring to become data scientists. You need to understand various machine learning algorithms, whether it's supervised, unsupervised, or some recommender systems. So you need to understand the different algorithms that are used in data science. Okay, then number 6 is data extraction and wrangling. That is how to extract data and how to clean even the data and how to make it ready for the algorithm or whatever you are doing. And number 6 or number 7 is data visualization. Data visualization. So the goal of somebody that is a data analyst or data scientist is to tell story with data. So you have to have some visual skill, the ability to use color, to use font, to organize information in a way that tells story that is impactful, that is exciting, that also catch attention of the directors or the senior people that are in the field. So you have to be able to design very well. Visualization is a key thing, because people are moved by the look before they look at the content. So that's one of the skills that you need, because you are a front-end developer. So what are the tools that you can learn in this? So Python, R, and SAS, they are the core programming language for data analytics and data science. Python, R, and SAS. You need to have knowledge of it. There are times that some organizations use either one or 2 of them, but you need to have some knowledge, okay, of at least one of them, Python, R, or SAS. Number 2, you need to also understand Spark, okay, Apache Spark, and also Excel, Tableau, and Power BI. So especially for those who are in data analysis, okay, Excel, Tableau, and Power BI is very key. And basic knowledge of Hadoop is also key, because many machine learning models are being deployed in Hadoop infrastructure today. So Hadoop is important. And then the last one is knowledge of SQL. you need to be able to write SQL query. Now, mainly you don't need to be a database administrator or have knowledge of all the things that SQL can do, but essentially you need to be able to select from the data. Especially the select clause is very key. Your ability to extract information using the select is very key. So what are the career paths that you see, or job titles that you might see? You might see things like data analyst, you might see business intelligence analyst, you might see data scientist, machine learning engineer, AI engineer, or AI specialist, and so on. And when you start in the job, you can move from data analyst, move to a data scientist, and then you go from senior data scientist, you become a manager, you become director, and you can become VP. So average salary range, especially for entry level, is about 80,000 based on Indeed estimate. But I can tell you there are so many more that are paid a lot more in that field. All right, so these are the various two tracks. So if you want to now go in the data science track, where do you start? So if you are somebody that is a newbie in the field, you start with the role of a data analyst or business intelligence analyst. Start with data analyst or business intelligence analyst. And for that one, the basic knowledge you need is basic understanding of Python, SQL, data manipulation and cleaning, exploratory data analysis, and fundamental statistics, and some data visualization tool like Tableau, Excel, and Power BI. So you need to have knowledge of those two, and maybe data quality assessment as well. So those are skills that you need in the first part. So that's a good starting point for somebody who have no background in IT. Then for the second part, you can go and become a data scientist, which is the second level, an advanced level, data scientist or machine learning engineer. So for that one, you need to have knowledge of machine learning algorithm, then supervised, unsupervised machine learning, and then knowledge of big data, especially Hadoop, and then maybe Apache Spark. Okay, so, and then how to build those models and deploy them. Okay, number 3, you can become a specialist or an senior data scientist. So for that one, you need knowledge of deep learning, which includes TensorFlow, Keras, Theano, and so on. And then you can have some AI special area like natural language processing, computer vision for analyzing images and objects. And then you can learn things like recommender systems, and then machine learning in operation. That is, if you want to deploy it into a live environment, or you become a specialist in a particular area like automation. Okay, you become an automation specialist, which means that that's an area that you have a lot of experience in. So these are different options that are available when you are looking at the career path in that field. So there are so many other roles, like I said, like data governance, okay, data governance, and even things like product manager. They are being integrated into data now. So you can have data product team manager, okay. You can also have project manager that are also integrated with data analytics, okay. So you have machine learning operations, which are new roles that are being created, or data management specialists. These are roles that are emerging in this world. So the first thing is you need to learn the core skills that are required for different parts that you are interested in, and then get your first job. Get your first job. So when you get your first job, then you continue to grow and develop yourself so that you can actually advance further in the field. The more opportunity that you want, the more skill you need to develop and expand your skill, so that at least you can move in from an entry-level position to a senior level position in the field. So if you are looking to step into the world of artificial intelligence, data science, data analytics, and machine learning, then we have a training that is going to start in March 4. So I highly recommend that you register for the class, and let's walk you through the process and prepare you for the opportunity, because you need all of these guides so that you are not making random decisions that will take you nowhere. I want you to know that our job is to ensure that we help you to fulfill that dream that you have in your heart, and to guide you and to lead you in the path that you need to go in order to fulfill that dream that you have, to step into the data world. So if that is your dream and decisions, then you can join us. So thank you for joining me today. I look forward to also coming back to you next week with another session. Next week, I'm going to be talking more on data strategy, and we will understand what that means and how organizations can actually work into data strategy. All right, see you next week. Bye for now.